Hello, folks. So, I've got another good old psychedelic story for you guys. And this was the time I watched my childhood friend, who was a couple years older than me, basically turn into a Gestapo after taking 6 hits of acid. And this was back when, oh yeah, by the way, it was because he was describing one of the most horrific things I've ever heard, him basically beating the shit out of a homeless dude who ripped him off when he was trying to get them to boot liquor for him. And yeah, so that was pretty wild, man. And this was back when I was 14, 15, 16, so I was doing acid on the regular, like at least once a week. And I went through acid that was, typically about, I'd say maybe 80 micrograms, 70 micrograms. This stuff felt like 100 micrograms a hit. Because I did it a couple times, so like 1 hit, 2 hits, 4 hits. So I took it to the next level and did 6. Yep, count them, 6. And so this was, admittedly a product of my like ignorant naivete at the time, but I mean, I still had a blast, other than like feeling, very threatened when I encountered the crux of this story. But yeah, so it started with me dropping these 6 tabs, which were, for one, very hard to keep under my tongue. I believe they were Mad Hatter acid, which was going around at the time. That stuff, good 100 mics a hit, I would say. And yeah, so I drop them, and I'm with a couple of friends. The two of them, they didn't do any psychedelics. They just smoked weed, and like, that's cool. Everyone's got their cup of fine by me. I'm certainly not the type to force psychedelics on anyone. But yeah, like, so basically, I put these 6 tabs under my tongue, and like holding them, and like acid would take at least an hour to kick in doing that. I found, like, over the years, I found with acid, like, it's just better to swallow it because I get the full thing all at once when it does kick in after an hour and a half. But yeah, like, I remember within 5 minutes, like, I was watching like these crazy. They looked like, those lightsaber candies. Like, they're just going like that, kind of patterns that were all sort of duplicating each other, but in different colors over everything. And within half an hour, everything looked like it was made out of clay, like synthetic in a way. And yeah, I was like, oh boy, we're in Friday 10 today. I'm to be walking home and looking at buildings. And there's one building, like it had just green paint on it, and like it was just looked like stars and vortices were coming out of it, and it was more just like stars and vortices, maybe more like a lotus flower kind of thing with the sort of the spikes you see on stars, sort of like what you would see on like a sundial back in the day, like almost like a Masonic sundial. Again, I'm not a reptile person. I'm not Illuminati confirmed. Okay, that stuff's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's crazy person bullshit. Don't believe it. Um, but yeah. Anyways, so go back to my friend's house, or no, sorry, go back to my house with my friends, and yeah, like this was back when I had a pet rabbit, and so we're doing bong hits out of this. One of those like gas mask bongs. I don't know if you guys remember those. I don't see them around very much anymore, but they're the ones where like your eyes like fill up with smoke before you take the bowl, and it's like crazy. I remember my eyes would fill up, and then I had to see the light, and then just green, pink, 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 green, 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 pink, 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 and just. And this is back when like I could smoke shitloads of weed on psychedelics, like stupid amounts of weed on psychedelics, and like I really still do smoke like quite a bit of weed on psychedelics. And have a good time, but like I can't smoke like I did back then. Like that would get me like to the point where I'd be just like, I got the fear. I got the fear, man. I got the fear. No, but yeah, I mean, it just wouldn't be pleasant. I'll put it that way. And so yeah, by the time I did those 3, 4 bong chops, I were playing with my rabbit. I'm rolling on the ground, and I'm like just kind of jokingly pulling myself across the ground like that, going up to my friend's shoe and going, "Here's a shoe," and I'm going, ah, 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 just joking, obviously, but he's like, "Yeah, fuck off, dude," and yeah, but it was fun. It was fun nonetheless, and we decided to take a walk, looking at the clouds, and they're like swirling down. All those same lightsaber-looking patterns are going across the sky, and it looked like there were amidst all these lightsaber patterns, these sort of like cubist-style robot things. I've seen them on acid since, on high doses, but they're just going like in the sky amidst all these patterns and swirling clouds. And I was like, hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. You know? I was right. I remember looking at I was looking at the tree branches, and that's just fall. So there was, or it may have been like early winter, but close enough. There were no flowers or anything, but I saw these like paisley type flowers growing out, and they were just dancing like. We are nature. We are so beautiful. Check us out. Check us out. Watch our dance. Watch our dance. Watch our dance. Watch our dance. So mind you, they're not saying this, but that was kind of the jive I was getting. That was the vibe I was getting. It was, yeah, a-okay. And so yeah, I get to this point where like we get to this school where like we would party all the time, being kids who had nowhere to fucking go. So um yeah, and we run into this crew which had a childhood friend of mine, and he and the rest of them were so high on cocaine, and they had no idea I was on acid. They knew I did a lot of acid, but they had no clue in the slightest. Um, but so like, Buddy's all worked up, and he's basically like goose stepping around, like, and he's blonde hair, blue eyes, so he's like, yo, yo, do, 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 dude, the craziest shit just happened, man. The craziest shit just happened, man. Yo, so get this, bro. Get this, bro. There's fucking homeless dude, man. And we're like trying to get him to boot outside the BCL, yo. And like, we see him walking after we give him the money. We see him walking out of the store with our booze in his pockets, man. And, he may have been around people on cocaine. You see how they get. I certainly have. I mean, I've certainly been that person sometimes. Not the person who beat the shit out of a homeless dude or anything, but I've been ripped out of my gourd on cocaine more times than I can count. So no judgment. No judgment. At least not on the cocaine use, just even though I think cocaine is not necessarily a great drug, but certainly judgment on the beating the shit out of the homeless guy broke my heart. So he's telling me, and mind you, his pupils are black because of all the coke he was doing. And so he's telling me, yeah, that they like one of the dudes saw him taking off, this homeless dude, and so he runs after him and just boom, decks this guy. Guy falls into the gutter, and like the booze pops out of his pockets, and he gets up and he's like, no, I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry. And he like runs across the street through traffic, and they pursue him because that wasn't enough, evidently, and the homeless dude's banging on the door of this bus that's just like stopped at a red light. It's about to stop like half a block away. At his designated stop, and he runs up and he's like, "Oh, what you fucking decked him, buddy?" And he fell on the ground, and I just stomped him in the gutter, and packs of smokes just flew out of his pockets, and I was like, "Fucking thanks, bud." Boom. And so I'm just sitting there like, yeah, that's A for effort, buddy. Like, you know, and the inside I was like, it was one of those internally screaming type moments, right? But luckily I wasn't with him for very long. He was on coke, so he had places to go. He probably had chicks he wanted to pork. He probably had booze he wanted to drink, and more cocaine he wanted to do, and probably cuff. So I just went on and I had a glorious trip for the rest of the evening. Nothing really notable happened, but that was just like one of these moments of terror I had where time seemed to freeze on acid. Like freeze right down as this dude's goes stepping in front of me going, "Hey, hey, 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 isn't this fucking cool? What I'm telling you, bro." Yeah, which I was like, no, that's not cool, dude. That's not cool in the slightest. I don't know what you're bragging about this right now. Oh, well, because you're on cocaine, obviously, but yeah, again, wonderful example of the top tier person you become when you do cocaine. But yeah, so had a great trip otherwise, and yeah, it's just kind of a crazy story. So I wanted to share it with you, fine folks, and yeah, I got a litany of just a smorgasbord of stories that either are crazy psychedelic stories, intense trauma I experienced from living on the streets, having less than fortunate sexual encounters, being a drug addict. I have multiple essays on film that I wrote, like very in-depth analytical essays, and just theories on life, metaphysics, other various forms of philosophy, and just trying to figure out, my place here, the place of things that are not quite provable, but reported in a consensus gentium style way, or like paranormal or whatever, where a lot of people believe in it. What is it really? I can talk about any number of these things, but that is up to you. And I want to leave the next subject of my video up to you guys. So yeah, if I don't hear anything, I'll just fucking dump something out. I'll crap something out tomorrow for you. But yeah, anyways, not so spiritual, synthetic shaman. I totally fucked up uh, the chronology of that, but like, anyways, yeah, my channel name, you know who I am, you know what I do. Tell me what you want to hear. I will be your trippy bard, and I will. What's the word I'm looking for? Serenade your ears with my low audio visual resolution. And yeah, just trying to make it interesting. Anyways, sayonara, folks. Keep it real, keep it fly, and yeah, be you unabashedly, the you that you are, the you can be. Write your story so someone else doesn't write for you, which is part of what I'm doing here. On that note, sayonara. Have a good night, folks.